In today's previews, we will have an unexpected twist. We will be faced with the cancellation of Yilmaz's departure, a shocking attack on Fekeli, and a dark secret in the hospital. Zuleyha in danger of life.
Before starting, however, leave a nice like on Trust, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss all the next videos. Finally, leave a comment to share your emotions.
Fate takes a sinister turn when Behice, disguised as a nurse, bursts into the hospital with a syringe containing a mysterious liquid, ready to end Zuleyha's life. Meanwhile, Sabahattin manages to piece together evidence that pins Sermin as the culprit. But the surprises don't end there. After Zuleyha's touching farewell letter to Yilmaz, the latter leaves Adana with his family to head to Istanbul, seeking a new life away from that city. But in an instant everything can change. In fact, it begins with some individuals who unscrupulously decide to pour oil on the road, endangering the lives of anyone who passes by. Meanwhile, Zuleyha is locked up in prison, and the anguish of not having news of her beloved children becomes unbearable for her. Although she has found some comfort in the relationship with the other inmates, the girl cannot bear the fact of not having any news about her children. With a pounding heart, therefore, Zuleyha immediately turns to the prison director, begging to be able to call her to the villa. Hunker replies, trying to hide the truth and saying that the children are fine and that he shouldn't worry, also saying that Adnan is playing in the garden. The matriarch tries to reassure her daughter-in-law, but at that moment Demir appears and snatches the phone from her to let Zuleyha understand that she no longer has her children. Meanwhile, Chetan and Fekeli are in the car with Chetan driving. During a discussion about Yilmaz's journey to Istanbul, an unexpected event triggers the alarm. The wheels of the vehicle start to slip, and in an instant it seems that everything could get out of hand. But thanks to timely braking, Chetan manages to avoid the accident. However, their race to safety isn't over. Suddenly, they get involved in a shootout. Unknown men try to end their lives. But luckily, both manage to survive the attack. Fekeli's determination ignites. Ali Rahmat wants to discover, at all costs, the identity of those who tried to kill them. But at the same time, she doesn't want her son to find out about this terrible affair. Meanwhile, Hunker decides that the time has come to find out the whereabouts of her beloved grandchildren, and without hesitation, she boards Demir's car, determined to find the children. But Demir, instead of giving her vehicle, uses Zuleyha's car to leave the villa. However, he does not notice that Yuzum is hiding inside, intent on playing hide and seek. Despite the presence of her baby, Demir doesn't scold her, showing a rare sweetness. They spend time together, having fun and sharing a meal, and before returning to the villa, Demir asks Yuzum to keep the secret and not to reveal to anyone the identity of the woman who takes care of Adnan. In the Chamber of Industry, Fekeli spokesperson for the danger looming over Cukurova. In a firm and determined voice, he warns the businessmen of the threat that is about to hit the city and puts everyone on high alert. Meanwhile, Chetan goes in search of Yilmaz to inform him of the attack they have suffered, and when he finally manages to reach him, Yilmaz, after hearing the news, makes a difficult but necessary decision. He abandons the trip to Istanbul towards a new life. Everyone returns to Fekeli's house, but Mujgan and his aunt show their disapproval. Elsewhere, Zuleyha makes the drastic decision to step down from her role as prosecutor. But Sabahattin, aware of the real reasons behind this choice, tries to convince her not to abandon everything. In fact, with her determination, she promises to prove that it was Sermin who framed her. Meanwhile, Behice does not hide her deep disappointment at not being able to reach Istanbul, and without hesitation, declares a painful truth to her niece. Yilmaz does not love her and will leave her completely alone, so Behice suggests that the only plausible option is to go to Istanbul and seek a divorce settlement that benefits both of them, and above all, that can guarantee a comfortable life for both. However, Dr. Mujgan is more determined than ever to fight to win back Yilmaz's heart. Meanwhile, Zuleyha begins to feel ill after dinner. The guards, dismayed to see Zuleyha in such a critical state, do not hesitate to intervene and decide to act promptly by rushing her to the hospital. The first assumptions make us fear the worst. It seems that Zuleyha has been poisoned, and when Sabahattin arrives, she confirms that rather disturbing diagnosis. The next day Fekeli and Yilmaz let the businessmen know that some strangers are trying to take Cukurova, and together they come to the conclusion that to avoid this, one must be united. Just as they are discussing what to do, they learn that Zuleyha's life is in danger. Yilmaz's heart is overwhelmed with anguish as he fears that Zuleyha may not survive the night. In a moment of grace, he is allowed to see her, and with trembling hands, he squeezes her gently as he whispers words of love and despair. While Mujgan was on duty, she notices her husband coming out of Zuleyha's room, worried and heartbroken about her, but decides not to say anything. Hatip, obsessed with destroying the reputation of the Yaman family, still firmly maintains that Demir is guilty of poisoning his wife. But when Demir enters, he confronts Hatip with uncommon aggression. Yilmaz, on the other hand, furious and thirsty for revenge, decides to leave the hospital to look for Demir, determined to put an end to the suffering inflicted on Zuleyha. But just then, Fekeli intervenes, trying to calm her dear godson and telling him that if she wants to kill the Yaman she must first kill him. On the other hand, Sabahattin finally manages to get the evidence proving Serman's guilt regarding the wrongful accusation against Jolide. She the latter restores her reputation as a prosecutor by ensuring that Serman will no longer interfere in their relationship. Meanwhile, Hunker goes to the hospital to visit Zuleyha, worried about her condition. Jolide plays a mediating role, allowing the matriarch to meet her daughter-in-law. Zuleyha asks Hunker to take care of her child, expressing her trust in her loving presence. While all seems calm, Mujgan confesses to Behice that he feels no pity for Zuleyha, and her niece bluntly admits that she hopes Zuleyha will die. Meanwhile, the other inmates get sick, like Zuleyha, in prison, but she rests in her hospital room. However, in a twist, Behice shows up disguised as a nurse, carrying a syringe containing a strange liquid. Her intention is clear: to eliminate Zuleyha, to prevent her from interfering in the relationship between Yilmaz and Mujgan. As Behice approaches with the intention of injecting her with the lethal liquid, Zuleyha suddenly wakes up, crying out for help from her. Behice is interrupted in her murderous plan and runs away without being seen. Although Zuleyha reports the incident, the authorities do not pay her the right attention, as well as the medical staff who do not seem to give her any credibility, attributing everything to a hallucination induced by the medicines administered. The situation is getting more and more tangled, and Zuleyha's life is still in danger. It will be necessary to uncover the truth, uncover the intrigues, and ensure that justice takes over. But we will find out in the next previews.
This video has also come to an end. If you liked it, like and leave a comment. Let us know what you think of these events. Subscribe to the channel, and activate the notification bell to not miss new videos.